space is a very important issue in Singapore. Small piece of island, a small island with limited space, but then with so many people living inside there, because we are small, sometimes we're affected psychologically, physically. So I think as a company, we started to want to really investigate what space means. So that's why for SIFA, we decided then to plan a 3-part program. Really look at space from different perspectives. The first one, which is the lesson, was really about if I have to replace one piece of land with something, a site with something, how do we negotiate? I think that's something that we have been talking about in Singapore. So it is a very interactive kind of place where we want to create a public space to talk about space. We want to create a kind of a space where people feel free to contest and talk about what is important to them.
刚开始的时候，我们在想说，如果我们是艺术家的话，我们怎么提供一个空间给公众？所以，而且这个空间是用来做什么的？其实就是用来讨论一些议题，跟让人民可以为自己关心的事情发出声音。所以在设计整个东西的过程中，到最后我们越来越清楚说，虽然我们讲是土地问题，但它是一个切入点而已。我们最终要看的是人民有没有这样的一种能力为自己做主。
Then the second piece we wanted to do was really to focus on Bukit Brown. Because we know Bukit Brown is such a heritage site and we have heard so much about it. But at the same time, when the government wanted to develop it, there was contestation because I think people start to value things with heritage and nature as part of our identity. In order to do this, I then decided that we probably have to bring the audience to the site. And when you bring them to the site, you must sense the site. And what best is to sense it in the most mysterious way and then letting it reveal through time. And so that's why we thought of the concept of actually doing it early in the morning. Through movement, you sense the flow of the space. Through sound, you hear the nature, you hear the primal energy of beings, and then you experience the space centrally. So, one, we have the discussion. Second one, we have the sensuality of space. And the third one is then actually to tell the story about the space.
Obviously, we're in a cemetery, we're in a space between life and death, where the living and the dead coexist. Also then in our generating of materials, that is where we go towards, to explore who am I as a human being, where do I begin from, and where do I end. We generated gestures around this whole area and then slowly expanded and developed and repeated them. Each actor creates one set of gestures and then they pass it on or they make it bigger or smaller. So then slowly we start to structure the pieces with different sections and captions, and then eventually we structure the piece together.
And so the third part, we wanted to tell the story of the space. We interviewed people who have very close relationship with Bukit Brown. So they tell the stories of how it begins, how people, relate to this place, all the inhabitants here, the stories of all these inhabitants. But we also tell the stories of the contestation between civil society and the government in trying to decide what is the future of this place. So this whole SIFA project is really trying to use different approach for us to understand the importance of space and place in Singapore, in us as being a Singaporean, in establishing our identity, our heritage, or our emotional connection with this place.
We didn't really have to do anything because there was this sort of organic surge of first the heaviness, the realization, okay, shit, this is what happens when we are like that. And then people just had to talk. We didn't have to make people talk. You know how in Singapore you always have to try and, what do you think? What do you mean? How can you share? But there's no need. There was a very strong need to really voice from a very deep place.
You must have faith in the people. 就是说他们能够有这样的一种能力去分析、了解事情，甚至他们如果陷入一个混乱的话，那彼此也可以帮助彼此。所以我觉得这整个演出啊，人是最重要的，观众最重要的，所以没有演员，没有什么，我觉得这是我们冒的一个很大的险。但是因为我们足够相信新加坡人，所以我们愿意冒这个险，让他们来带动跟主宰这个戏。